All right, welcome everybody to another virtual Monday lunch for September 7th. We've got a group of guests today to talk all about traveling during COVID and traveling in general. And before we get to them, we've got a quick update from Bill Hill, our president. Howdy, Bill.
Well, howdy, Logan. Howdy again. We definitely have to stop meeting this way. And we are looking very closely at when we can open up Aggie Park for Monday lunch. Staying safe and following all the rules and not getting reported. We don't want to get on the bad side of things. But anyway, we continue to drive on. We get positive feedback. If you have some ideas on Monday lunch and something you might want to see, contact either Logan, Mark, or I, and we'll see if we can make that happen. Well, it's been a week since the last time I gave you an update on the capital campaign. I just want to report that we're nearing the $1.1 million mark in funds raised for the renovation and the expansion project at Aggie Park. That's our capital campaign. And we're currently at $1,096,150. That's about $2,000 more than last week, and it's been a short week.
You have mom and dad's home, you have your own home, and then you have your Aggie home. And in San Antonio, if you're involved with Aggie Park, you would consider this your Aggie home. So, and you want other people to feel the way you do. So if you can help by donating, especially to this capital campaign of extending Aggie Park, that's going to help in renting out this place to larger events, which is going to bring in more income, like I said, to either help run this building or to support the Aggie scholarships.
So what do you have in your hand right now?
I've got a check for $10,000 to the San Antonio A&M Club Foundation for the capital campaign, and hopefully we'll get this figure smaller and smaller, and hopefully everyone in the community will agree that this place is worth saving and worth expanding and just making it a place that we continue to come to and be proud of.
Thanks, Aggs, for all you do. Really, we are $4,000 to exceeding that $1.1 million. If you can find a way to help us out and make a contribution, that'd be greatly appreciated. We mentioned last week Aggie Park is open for some business as far as rentals go. If you're interested in renting Aggie Park, contact the Executive Director, Mark Osborne, and he can give you the rules and set up all the parameters for how we're doing that. We are in contact with the Association of Former Students on Coaches Night. Looks like we're going to have Coaches Night maybe in 3 weeks. That's a short notice, but be on the lookout for that. We've been in touch with a couple of the other clubs. I think it's Austin and Houston, and where we're going to all do Coaches Night virtually on the same night, and we're brainstorming that. So now collaborating with 3 clubs to make it all work is a lot harder than just doing it ourselves. Look, I'm looking on the website here, on the Aggie Park website. I don't know when the last time you've been on the website, but I encourage you to do that. So up in front, we have all the information you need about the 2020 Aggie Golf Classic. As I mentioned before, that's going to be September 10th at Canyon Springs Golf Course. We have over 100 golfers. And so I'm going to put a plug out now. If maybe you're not a golfer, but you want to be participating in San Antonio A&M Club, we need some volunteers. This is the largest golf tournament that we've hosted in anyone's recent memory. So getting everybody checked in, making sure they're all set is going to be a little bit of a challenge. As I mentioned before, there is a donated box lunch that will be coming that comes from Anne Marie's. And then after the tournament, there'll be a barbecue plate dinner that'll be provided kind of like in a to-go container, or we're looking at ways in which we can eat there. But on Aggie Park website, we have all the information about how you rent Aggie Park, the upcoming events, which includes not only the golf tournament, but the 2020 Sporting Gate Clays Tournament. We've got a link on there for virtual Coaches Night, which most of the information is still to be determined. We also have a link to where you can get your 2020 collector's item, your Fiesta medal. So Fiesta was canceled this year. Fiesta medals are going to be in short supply. Go to our website, Just click on that and you can see how you can order your Fiesta metal. And if you want to, you can even have it shipped. All right, so that's about all I have to cover there for today. Quick update, just want to put a plug for the capital campaign. Thanks for all of you, many folks that have donated for that. I'll see most of you, or a lot of you, at the golf tournament. And for an optimistic view, sometime mid-September to early October, I'll see you at Monday lunch at Aggie Park. Okay, Logan, back to you.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks for that update. We've got a group of guests today. Real excited to announce. We've got Jennifer Bohac, class of '87, with the Traveling Aggies. We've got Dan Stippa with Orbridge, and we've got Lisa Clapp with the National World War II Museum here to talk to us about travel and getting around during these times. So how are y'all doing today?
Howdy.
Well, Jennifer, you want to start us off and let us know how things are going with the Traveling Aggies?
Wonderful, thank you. Well, howdy A&M Club. I miss seeing y'all. I come every year and this is sad I'm not with you all, but hopefully soon. But I do bring greetings from the Clayton Williams Alumni Center and Aggie Land. Things are active and busy right now on campus. There are students that are walking around going to class. We've got students coming into our building. We've got ring orders going on through a couple more weeks. So those rings will be distributed in November. So lots of activities happening and gearing up for football season and a great fall. So, but I'm thrilled to be here and thrilled to be here with two of our great travel partners that we work with at the Traveling Aggies. I'm going to give you a little update what's going on, and most of you know about the Traveling Aggies and have traveled with us, and also kind of what's happening now with travel. We're getting a lot of calls on our new reality in travel and what that looks like. And so we want to give you a kind of a glimpse of our new travel programs and our protocols and a sneak peek in what's happening for next year in some travel. And we're optimistic and we're each week hopeful that things are going to start traveling and happening quickly. But the Traveling Aggies, as you know, we offer about 80 trips a year. Of course, we are pretty much shut down for the most part right now. And we're still operating and planning, but we have no trips currently happening. We did have a lot of trips that were postponed. So what happened was when COVID started and things started changing, a lot of our trips were postponed and guests were giving vouchers or a trip for 2021. A lot of people have asked me, what does that look like? How can I still travel, or is it going to happen? Our tour operators have been fantastic. And that's one thing I like to stress. And you're thinking about traveling, maybe a little bit nervous, is I think the time is now more than ever to travel in a group. The benefit with traveling with the Aggies, of course, you're traveling with fellow Ags, but we vet our tour operators, our vendors, and they're amazing. And when you go on a trip, especially now, you want to make sure that you're going to have the very best product possible. That it's going to be safe and well done. So I think if you haven't ever thought about group travel, now's the time to do it in light of what's happening, because we know they're going to take care of our guests and make sure everything from buses to hotels to guides, that's going to be well handled and well done. So if you haven't signed up for a trip for next year, there's lots of opportunities, and there's not a whole lot of risk, because if something happens, what we've been telling our Traveling Aggies the last several months is don't cancel if our companies are not going to put you in harm's way. So if you're signed up for a trip, say for January, February, hang on, because if they see it's not safe to travel, they're going to postpone it. They're going to rebook it. Let them do it, not you, because it's to your benefit financially and just for returning to that trip. For example, we've had quite a few cruises. We work with Oceania Cruises, and we had a number of cruises that are, of course, not happening right now, but they took great care of us. If you were booked on a trip and Oceania postponed that trip, you got 125% voucher toward another cruise, good for 2 years. So that's very, very good, and you can change it and move it around. So it's, again, to your benefit to just hang on to these trips. Don't cancel, let them cancel or postpone to another time. Another question I have gotten a lot of in the last several months is insurance. A lot of people were booked on trips and said, you know, I had insurance, is this going to cover it? Unfortunately, travel insurance, unless you have canceled for any reason, travel insurance does not cover a pandemic. So a lot of folks got caught up into that because they wanted to cancel. Well, the insurance doesn't cover that. But of course, if the company canceled, you're fine. But so if you're thinking about traveling, thinking about getting insurance for a future trip for next year, think about cancel for any reason, because that you can cancel for just to say, I don't want to go. So that's something also to keep in mind as you're planning your future trips. But one thing that for traveling Aggies for the past 54 years has always been the safety, security is our top concern for the traveling Aggies. And it's going to continue that way, and probably even more so, to rely on our tour operators to provide that safe environment. And you'll get to hear from Dan, who was on one of our trips that happened this summer, which we were one of the few schools in the country that actually had a trip that happened. And we had incredible response, and they had a great time. Before I turn it over to Dan, I do want to see if I can share my screen and show y'all just a few photos from our recent trips that we had just before all this happened. And this will give you just an idea of kind of what we do and who travels with us. I think here we go. This was us, actually, this was the last trip of pretty much of any school in the country that was in Australia. We were supposed to go to New Zealand, and unfortunately the borders closed. And so we only made it to through Australia. This is in the outback. Here we are at Sydney. So this was where we finished our trip on March the 20th. Again, our vendor did an amazing job. We had our flights booked, we had everything taken care of, and we were in no harm's way. In fact, we were confused on what was going on because we were hearing about this toilet paper shortage and all these things happening in the US. And of course, Australia had really no issues at all. So it was a great trip, a great ending. And in fact, I showed this picture. This is Hart's Pub. It's in Sydney, Australia, and it's owned by an Aggie. The lady in the maroon right there doing the gig, Rhonda, she is the owner of Hart's Pub. So again, I want to plug her. Whenever you're going back to travel and back in Australia, go see Rhonda. And this is our recent trip in February to Tanzania, one of my personal favorite destinations, and we're hopeful to go back in February. So if you're thinking about a Tanzania safari, this is one of the best trips. I've been 25 times and I can't wait to go back, but it was a great place. And people have asked me, how's COVID in Tanzania? The borders are now open. They're accepting tourists are there, and they really didn't have the crisis that we had, just because of the nature, and it's a lot more outside and a lot more open spaces. So, and if you go, you get to take a balloon ride like that over the Serengeti, and it's kind of a once in a lifetime experience. Also, I've usually shared, this is us at Zariki School. This is a little school at Lake Victoria that we support. The Traveling Aggie's been helping this school for probably 12 years, and we're real proud of them. They started pretty much just in a little one-room schoolhouse. Now they're grown to multiple buildings. And right here you see we've donated laptops to this little school, and we're helping them get a computer classroom started. So you'll see more of that in the coming years. We have, in fact, 20 laptops already donated to bring with us in February. So we're proud of that. And then just what also you can do is go on a gorilla trek with us. And that is me in front of some silverback gorillas in Rwanda. So it's quite exciting. Again, a few more photos of us. This was in the Arctic, having champagne on ice. This was us in Costa Rica. This is actually the campus, the Texas A&M Soltis campus in Costa Rica that we got to visit in November and met with the students and had a fabulous experience. We were here in Croatia, again, last fall, wonderful trip experience. And some of you, if you're I think it's a Game of Thrones, this is in Croatia. So you get to, we had a great time in Dubrovnik, Croatia. And so those, I just want to give you a little, let me see if I can stop this now, a little glimpse of what we do and the types of trips. But again, I think as always, the Traveling Aggies, our goal is educational travel, but the number one priority is to have fun and have a great trip. So I do want to now turn it over to Dan Stipa, my good friend down in Houston, just down the road, and talk to us a little bit about Orbridge, what they're doing, and some new protocols that they're following. Dan?
Great. Thanks so much, Jennifer. Howdy, everyone. As Jennifer said, my name is Dan. I serve as one of the directors for Orbridge, and I'm based right here in Houston. And so we are a company that specializes obviously in small group educational travel. And within our portfolio of tours, we actually do have some domestic tours. And so we're one of the first tour operators that has been out there since COVID has started running some of the smaller group tours. And as Jennifer said, we were proud to have partnered with the Aggies back in mid-July on our first departure that I joined. And so I'm going to share my screen, and I have some information about how travel looks a little bit different these days. And so let me just get this set up. There we go. And so in just a few minutes, I'm just going to kind of highlight some of the adjustments that have taken place on some of these small group tours, what those experiences look like, and then what we're observing in terms of some of the future trends. And then I'll highlight our upcoming programs that we're working with Jennifer and the Traveling Aggies on. And so, as I said, I'm based here in Houston. And so I flew out of Houston George Bush Airport for this tour at around 9 o'clock in the morning. And on the left-hand side of my screen, you'll see the shuttle bus. And so I park at one of the airport parking lots. And these buses that, as if you've flown out before from Bush in particular, you know that they load these pretty full. And so these buses now hold at most about 4 or 5 people with abundant social distancing. And that's really a common theme throughout the group experience now. And you'll see on the right-hand side of my screen what it looks like on the motor coach. So we had about 15 guests plus myself and our tour director, and we used one of the large 55-person motor coaches. And so you can see in the photo, there are empty rows, folks staggered so that you're not sitting next to anyone. And so we anticipate and are really projecting that the group sizes will be a little bit smaller. We'll have more departures of smaller tours, but still using those larger vehicles. So then that way there's still the abundant social distancing for everyone while on tour. And then while on tour, it does look a little bit differently, but the essence is still the same. And that's one of the things that I really want to kind of emphasize is that while traveling during COVID times and probably for the foreseeable future may look a little different, the experience is still the same. We visited all the same attractions that were included on the original itinerary, stayed at the properties, had the same meals, but with those enhanced precautions, that enables us to do so. So on the left-hand side of the screen, you see that we do require all of our local guides as well as the guests, especially in indoor spaces, to wear those face coverings. And so the woman who's in that blue shirt standing on the wooden box is our local guide at this archaeological dig site, who was wearing the mask and then had the sanitized earpieces for everyone throughout. On the right-hand side of the screen, you see a photo that I took of just our group at one of the sites at Yellowstone. And like I said, we were here in the middle of July, which is typically one of the most crowded times at Yellowstone. And I was talking with our tour director one of the evenings, and he estimated that the crowds were probably about 40% of what they typically are. And so especially for those who are able and are willing and comfortable taking the precautions, the experiences, like I said, are the same, but you're kind of getting them at peak season time with very few crowds. So it really kind of, in a way, enhanced the experience. On this slide, on the left-hand side, again, continuing with that theme of social distancing. And so this was at the very first hotel at Rapid City that we stayed at, right in the heart of downtown. And it's a little bit hard to tell from this photo that I took, but this is one of their meeting ballroom spaces that typically hosts about, or can hold about 125 guests. And it's set up for obviously much fewer than that. And so throughout the tour, especially at meals and whatnot, when you're kind of seated together, you'll notice that there's going to be much more space between the tables, no more than 3 or 4 people seated per table, and kind of filling up larger rooms with smaller amounts of people. Another element to note, you'll see in the back of that photo, there's the essentially what looks like the buffet table. Buffets are really a thing of the past for the time being, because we are really trying to eliminate as many shared products as possible. And so while you still may have a buffet set up, you're not going through and self-serving anymore. You either have a staff member who is stationed there serving you, but more often than not on our tours, you now have seated meals with menus, wait staff coming around. So then that way you're not having to kind of get up and share common utensils. On the right-hand side of the screen, as a result of COVID, what we're doing at Orbridge is arranging more private experiences. So this is again at that archaeological dig site, and we were there before it opened to the public. And so while we and the guests on tour are taking all of the precautions, including the face coverings and whatnot, we're really trying to do all that we can to make sure that our kind of essentially protected group is kind of as private as possible. And so when we're able to do so, you'll start to see more of these private experiences. On this side, on the left-hand side, you'll see us at an outdoor lecture. So even in this area, folks are wearing those face coverings, and that was really something nice to see. As a staff member on board, I didn't have to be kind of the protocol police, that guests really were taking personal responsibility for themselves and those that they were traveling with. And so guests were taking this seriously and following those protocols. But with these outdoor lectures, I know a lot of you have traveled with the Aggies before, and sometimes there are like indoor lectures or you have like a meeting in a hotel. And here at Orbridge, when possible, we're really trying to move those types of experiences outdoors. And that will be kind of a future trend that you see with our tours at Orbridge, is that as much as possible, whenever the group is kind of all together, we will try to do those outdoors, just not only for kind of the fresh air and to spread folks out, but also kind of brings the learning to life. So Kent, the expedition leader who's there in the plaid shirt, we're actually at the base of Mount Rushmore, and he's giving a lecture about that. So it was a lot better than sitting in the hotel conference room. And then the other photo on here is the group of Aggies, or many of them, at the base of Mount Rushmore. Again, kind of sporting that Aggie spirit with the Aggie face coverings and whatnot. And so a few observations. A lot of these I've kind of woven into the photos that I've talked about. Of course, you're going to have these enhanced protocols and the face coverings. But the last bullet in that first section, that shared responsibility, like I said, I think that those who are starting to travel, whether it's independently or with groups through the traveling Aggies, you will start to see the guests are taking that collective ownership for the wellness and health of everyone. As we think about moving forward, as Jennifer said, there is going to be an increased flexibility for guests. And so at Orbridge, for example, we now have a 30-day grace period that you can cancel within 30 days of making your reservation, and you can get every penny back. And then if you were to cancel at least 90 days prior to departure, you're not out any money. You get most of it refunded, and then what used to be a fee or a penalty is now a future travel credit for at least 2 calendar years after the scheduled tour. So it kind of provides that peace of mind that if you decide not to travel, you're not really out any money. Those enhanced sanitation protocols that I've been talking about, those are here to stay. Even once a vaccine is developed and kind of widely adopted, it will take a while to get kind of back to pre-COVID times. And so those sanitation protocols will be here to stay. And you are going to see, and you'll be hearing from Lisa about the program that Jennifer and her are working on, but these closer to home tours are really what's going to come back first. And so whether it's a domestic multi-day tour or something kind of in your own backyard, because of folks feeling kind of more comfortable traveling a smaller distance, we really envision that domestic market coming back sooner than some of the more esoteric destinations around the world. Also, as Jennifer said, more and more travelers are strongly considering travel insurance, even if they're personally healthy. We've already started to see with the new reservations coming in that guests are looking into travel insurance, and in particular cancel for any reason. And that overall, if guests have that, if they have that peace of mind, and if they know and feel that they're being taken care of, that's really those are the key influencers to kind of inspire inspiring folks to kind of put pen to paper, so to speak, and sign up for these tours. And so, as Jennifer has said, we really are proud to partner with the Traveling Aggies. And so, of the 80 plus tours that Jennifer and her team offer, we're really happy to partner on about 8 of them each year. And so we offer tours, again, close to home, including Yosemite and the Death Valley and the parks of California, Alaska, as well as some other ones. And so on this next page, this is our co-branded site. In addition to going to the Traveling Aggies website, you also are able to go to this site, and it has all of those co-sponsored tours. And anyone who watches this webinar, if you sign up online and if you put in San Antonio A&M Club on your reservation form, we'll give you a $125 discount that'll be applied towards your final bill. And so if you make your booking by Monday, September 21st, just remember to put in San Antonio A&M Club, and then you will receive that discount. And so again, I want to thank the San Antonio A&M Club for allowing me to be a part of this, and to Jennifer and Logan. And so I'll stop sharing my screen and turn it back over to y'all.
Thank you, Dan. That's fantastic. And yeah, Orbridge has done a great job and great partners with us. And as I mentioned, our trip this summer was flawless, and people are ready to sign up for more. So it is very positive. And also, as he mentioned, the domestic product is going to be in high demand. With that being said, I'm pleased to introduce Lisa Clapp, another good friend of mine and partner for travel. And she has some great things that we're partnering with for this year and next year.
Yes, I actually do. I want to, before I start talking about our Operation Homefront tour, which is exactly what Dan was talking about as far as domestic coming back sooner. I just kind of wanted to tag on a little bit to what Jennifer was talking about, the appeal right now of group tours. We are finding that there is an extra level of comfort for travelers, knowing that, you know, we, most of the work that we're doing right now during this shutdown period has been vetting all the restaurants, all the buses, all the museums, making sure that we understand and know what protocols they have. In addition, you know, it's you don't have to do any of that legwork yourself. In our case, you have the National World War II Museum doing that for you. And I just think, you know, to be honest, before this job, I was not a big fan of group travel, but I have become, but even more so now. It really is wonderful, and there's a lot of positive things during these COVID times that just gives you some extra security. I would also mention, kind of like tagging on to what Dan said, is that, you know, we are looking for ways to not just re-engage with travelers, but to have people book with confidence. And because I know that, you know, there is some hesitation out there, but we are seeing some incredible interest right now. We believe that there's a pent-up demand, and we are really hoping that we're going to meet that. A great example of that is our Operation Homefront. It's a domestic 3-night tour to our museum and our brand new hotel, which there it is right there. Oh, look at Jennifer right there in the vault. I love that photo. But so yeah, our Higgins Hotel, named after Andrew Higgins, who designed the Higgins boats that were so instrumental on the D-Day landings. In fact, he's often credited for winning World War II because of those boats. But anyway, this is our Higgins Hotel. It opened last November, and it is stunning. It's Art Deco themed like the 40s were, and we have lots of artifacts and beautiful, beautiful rooms, and it is on the museum campus. So it's a wonderful addition, and it gives us the opportunity now to put together an inbound domestic tour, which, so this will be the first year that we're doing it. And the first group to come to the museum on our inbound tour is Texas A&M. So October 1st, less than a month away, sold out in 2 days. Pretty incredible. So Jennifer wisely added a second date of October 15th, which is what you see here, and we have 1 room left. So, but I'm hoping that Texas A&M will also repeat this in 2021 and going forward. It's a wonderful experience with lots of behind the scenes. Hopefully going into the vault, we're September 11th, the city of New Orleans will come out with some new, hopefully more relaxed protocols. But whatever they are, we have found ways to, if we have to bring the vault out to you, that's what we'll do. But it includes early admission to the museum, like I said, behind the scenes, the Tom Hanks 4D Beyond All Boundaries movie, which is just, there's not a dry eye in the house ever for that movie. It's pretty amazing. So anyway, we're looking forward to welcoming the Aggies and re-engaging with travelers. This will be our first tour since the shutdown. So we're really excited about that. And let's see. I don't want to stop the share. I want to let me go to. So the other thing that's really, really exciting is, I'm so sorry.
I'll put a plug in right now, Lisa, while you're working on that is, yeah, we're thrilled to be the very first school to be offering this. And as Lisa mentioned, we sold it out in 2 days. So if folks are interested in the last room, we can take reservations for that, but we are looking at repeating this. And something fun, it's we'll be doing a game watch party with there at the Higgins for the Bama game, which is that day, Saturday at 2:30. So we're excited about that and doing some fun things. Of course, in New Orleans, we'll be eating well and doing some sightseeing. So I've been to that hotel. It's lovely. It's fabulous. The museum is one of my favorite museums in the world. It's just so well done. So it's a great opportunity. And if you miss out this time, definitely put it on your list for us to go. And the flexibility of going a few days early or a couple days, stay for a couple days later too.
Okay, so are you seeing the Rudder brochure now or no?
One quick thing while you're looking that up, Dan, you showed a couple trips coming up to look like Canada first, polar bears at Churchill and the Galapagos Islands. Our guest last week, Mike Bolner, he actually just showed us a bunch of pictures last week of those two places. I guess he had gone recently right before this COVID. And so that's neat that you got those two lined up. You know, everybody just got to see a bunch of cool pictures from those from his trip when he was there.
Well, that's wonderful. We've had over 100 guests through the Traveling Aggies visit the Galapagos Islands in particular with us. So that's great to hear that he shared that experience.
Okay, I am stuck, y'all. I don't know what to do here.
We can just talk about the upcoming.
Yeah. So yeah, no. So this is like, it's so amazing, and I'm really upset that I can't show this to you right now, but we'll make sure that we email it to everyone. When Jennifer was here last November, we were just brainstorming a little bit, and she came up with the idea of doing a Rudder tour. So it's following in the footsteps of James Earl Rudder, and it will be June 3rd, and it goes from the Normandy beaches, St. Mary Glise, Pontefract, Falaise, Paris, the Hurtgen Forest, Ardennes, Luxembourg, Bastogne, Malmedy. I mean, it's really very special, and we're accompanied on this trip by Anne Rudder Erdman. So that in itself is also very special. I just don't understand what's going on here. But this is something that we hope is going to be an annual tour, but this June is the inaugural advent of this tour, and we think it's going to be pretty special. We have a lot of resources on the ground in all of these places because we already traveled to them, but to put them together to honor James Earl Rudman and his leadership on the battlefields of Europe is going to be very, very special for Aggie travelers. We're really, really excited about it. The other, and it's an exclusive, obviously, for the traveling Aggies. Another great exclusive tour that Texas A&M will be offering is Masters of the Air. And that tour features author and historian Don Miller, and it's all about the Mighty Eighth. And it's a very, very different tour in that it's pretty much all in England, and it's visiting all the different airfields that the Mighty Eighth used, and actually still meeting with people who were children at that time and what their observations were. And if you know anything about Don Miller, you know you're also going to be spending a lot of time at the pubs. So, but anyway, we're really excited about that as well.
It sounds exciting. Lisa, I got goosebumps just you talking about that rudder tour. That sounds like a very unique, very awesome trip. That should be a really fun thing to take part in.
Yeah, no, we're very, very excited about it. And I'm just really sorry that I had this malfunction.
We can put a link. We can put a link up if you send it to me.
Okay.
So when we post the meeting here soon, we'll put a link up so that people can click on it if you want to send that over.
Okay, I absolutely will. Thank you so much. I mean, honestly, I'm looking at the rotor brochure, but I can't get it off my screen now.
No problem. But we do have 16 people already signed up for the rudder trip, which is fantastic. And Anne has been wonderful to work with. It's General Rudder's daughter, and she is so excited and has provided some family photos that have never been seen before. And we used one in the brochure. So it's a special trip for her. She's, the stories when we talk on the phone are just phenomenal. So I just can't imagine to take this experience with her and honoring her dad. It's going to be very, very special. So
when is that trip again? What date?
June
What's the
3rd.
date? June 3rd.
June 3rd through the 15th.
Yeah. So thank you, Lisa. I mean, we're just thrilled. I'm so excited. The Traveling Aggies, we've had brochures dropping, and a lot of colleagues across the country have not even started marketing trips, and we're getting bookings and reservations. So I think it's shows we Aggies are intrepid travelers, and we're tough, and we're ready to go see the world again, and that's exciting. If you are not on our mailing list, feel free to go to our website at aggienetwork.com, and we'd love to get you on our mailing list. We do have our 2021 catalog in the works right now. So if you get on the mailing list now, you'll be able to get that beautiful publication that we do here internally in the mail, as well as our brochures. We've got all the beautiful brochures. And I also like to point out that people ask me, is Texas A&M paying for all these beautiful brochures? No, we do not. That's part of the contract with our wonderful vendors, that they provide the marketing pieces. So your Century Club dollars are not being used for the mailing. So we're again, a part of our partnership and agreement. So our mailing list, and also you can go to our website, see information about travel insurance, see past trip photos and more information. Also, we did a video for our 2021. Of course, we couldn't have our annual reunion, so we did a kind of a preview of 2021. So that's another, if you want to kind of get a peek at what we're offering and hear from our vendors, and we've had videos from all over the world. It was very well done. Go to our website, you can link on that to get a sneak peek of what's happening. But again, I just want to relate that as our partnership with our tour operators and the trust that if you sign with the Traveling Aggies, you're going to get a great product, because Texas A&M Association of Former Students stand behind each of our products, and we are going to go above and beyond to make it wonderful for our Traveling Aggies.
Well, thanks, Jennifer. You brought up some great points. That traveling with you guys, all the vendors are vetted, and the experiences are top of the line, and it's take a lot of the worry out that people have when they're traveling. I always know when I'm looking for the cheap tour, if this taxi cab driver is going to drive me to the right place or not. So it's that's one of the definite benefits, it sounds like. See, you also mentioned for people traveling, if they get travel insurance, make sure that they can cancel for anything or have that option so that they don't get stuck. I know a lot of pandemics aren't covered in just about any insurance policy, it seems like. Let's see. And then Dan with Orbridge, y'all are already having success with some small travel groups, which is awesome. I know I agree with all of y'all. There's a lot of pent up demand. People want to get out. People are ready to start traveling and doing things. And it's good to hear that y'all are making that available and that it's finding ways around it to be safe and to travel. And then Dan, you mentioned at texas-am.orbridge.com. If you type in San Antonio or traveling Aggies, you get a $125 discount. So that's a pretty neat deal. And then Lisa with the World War II Museum, those are some neat trips coming up. Staying at the Higgins Hotel and getting to watch Beyond All Boundaries and it's a 3-day tour of the museum. That sounds pretty neat. And then enjoying New Orleans. That's a great place. It's the only place you can. What I say is the only place you can go in America. Or outside of America where you don't need a passport to travel. That's a different world down there and it's beautiful and the food's awesome. So thank you guys very much for joining us today and giving us a presentation of what's going on. We appreciate it.
Logan, thank you. As I mentioned, come see us in Aggie Land. We are open, our doors are open, and we look forward to welcoming visitors. And also, I do want to point out, we talked about our trips. You're going to see smaller groups. So we're not going to have giant groups of people like Dan mentioned. Our groups are going to be smaller and manageable to space out a little bit. So some people get concerned about size, and we are taking that in consideration as well. But we look forward to seeing the world and seeing the United States and seeing Aggie Land with our fellow Ags.
Well, thank you. All right. Well, y'all have a wonderful day, and hopefully we see y'all soon.
Thank you so much. This was great.
Okay.
All righty.